When we were all boys and girls, I wonder just how many of us wanted to be explorers and visit remote jungles, ford unnavigable rivers, and climb inaccessible mountains. There's something in all of us that attracts us to the out-of-the-way places of this world. It makes us want to see strange animals and strange people. Let us see the way in which these animals are trapped and brought back alive. First of all, you build yourself a stockade of stout bamboo so that you may live in comparative safety. Then you dig a deep pit, which you cover lightly with leaves and twigs. And then you wait. Sooner or later, something is bound to drop into your trap.
Quick, Larry, all of you, help me with the net. Spread it over the pit. Get a hold of the corners. Don't drop it now till I give the word. And be sure you keep clear, or he'll drag you in. Now, we'll build a cage.
But with bears, which are not necessarily vicious, a different technique can be used. Look at this little fellow who'd follow anybody for the sake of food.
You can't make a monkey out of me. Stand still, Larry. He won't hurt you. Tell that to the bear, will you?
Then one day we got caught in the jungle by a lion. Larry, who was behind me, grabbed a vine and swung himself into a tree.
Help, Clive! A lion! Stay where you are. Grab this rope. Make it fast to the branch, then hang a loop close to the ground. Aha! That's got him.
Then when your bag is completed, comes the trek to the coast and the sea journey home. Tigers are heavy and require 4 men, but monkeys and such like can be easily handled if the cage is slung from a pole supported by 2 men. This consignment was fairly varied, ranging from tigers to giraffes, and after proper carrying crates had been made, they were shipped from the nearest port and consigned to the London docks. While the passengers disembarked for customs, the crates were hauled by derricks out of the hold and stowed on the dockside. This one contains a young tiger, and it has been specially reinforced. You can't have merchandise like that getting loose and roaming around the landscape. From this point onwards, it is the last we see of our animals. We get a receipt for them and then return for more. From here on, they're in the care of their purchasers.
The bulk are delivered to zoos, and here we have a typical assignment arriving at the London Zoo from Nairobi in East Africa. These giraffes have just completed their long journey and are being delivered to the quarantine station. Crates are taken off lorries and are maneuvered to the door of the stable. front of the crate is opened, some food is offered to the animal, and one more giraffe is added to the zoo's collection. Every animal in the zoo was delivered in this way at one time or another, with the exception of the few who were born in captivity. With the various zoos, it is curious that the same species of animal is just as popular in Liverpool as it is in New York. The most popular, of course, are the monkeys, probably because we can see ourselves reproduce. And I have often wondered whether, if monkeys ruled the world, human beings would be their most popular exhibit. This grizzly looks as tame as Fido, begging for a tidbit from visitors, and this other one certainly knows all the tricks. He is as anxious to get that bun as a candidate at an election is to get your vote. Even the cubs learn their tricks young from their elders. On the other side of the zoo, you have the more ferocious animals, who are all delivered in exactly the same way as the giraffes. I know a baby I could wrap that coat around when you finish with it, chum. The circus is the other major customer for animals trapped by our explorers. Every circus either teaches these animals tricks and uses them in the show or tours them as a menagerie attached to the big top. When you see kids running as fast as that, it usually means something's up. Children of all ages get a kick out of the circus. It's a place where you put on your holiday mood and relax, especially when it is accompanied by a fun fair. Towering above the great wheel is a mast 100 feet high, and the trapeze artist does her act at the top, to the delight of the crowd. In the management of a circus such as this, minute planning must be made because to transport all this to another location in the space of 24 hours is an operation requiring exact timing. And here are the boys who put it over. They're all here. The proprietor, the manager, the publicity manager, and the amusements manager. And when this present performance finishes, the whole lot has to be pulled down and transported. All the fun of the fair is no idle statement. You can be thrown about, twirled upside down, bumped, shaken, and nearly killed. But you will still pay your pennies for it all the same. In fact, there is a fortune awaiting any man who can invent a gadget for making another man ill. It attracts all types, from the very young to the very old. Can't you remember the fun that you've had on the merry-go-round? I can. The owners of any circus are always having to refuse offers from circus-struck people of all ages who just want to run away from home and join the circus. Here's one now. He wants to be a clown. So he puts on his best suit, nobody's told him it's been done before, and he's off to try his luck. Well, he came across the fun fair first. Looks as though he'd never seen things like this before. Now, what on earth could that gadget be for? Maybe it's a rocket to the moon. Oh, my goodness. Why don't you try it, Charlie? Maybe to give you a new angle on life. Steady, Charlie. The job, you've got to see the manager. Put on a bold face and try your luck. Oh, here he is. And a tough-looking customer if I've ever seen one. What do you want, he asks. I want a job, please, says Charlie. What can you do? Anybody, says Charlie without thinking. I've walked miles and miles. I've got a sick mother and her only son to support. I want to be a clown, please, Mr. Manager. Let me be a clown. That's the last thing I can do. Can you groom the horses, carry the tea, wash the dishes, help the canvas, water the elephant, feed the lions, dig the drains, pull on ropes, and make yourself useful? I'm pretty strong, says Charlie. You feel my muscles. Ouch. Sorry, you touched my funny bone. Get out of my cabin, roars the manager. Charlie looks so sorry, he relents and tells him to make himself useful. Make himself useful. How little did he know how tired he was going to be in the next 24 hours. Even before the audience had left the big top after the last performance, the hands had started pulling it down. Now begins the race against time. There's no sleep for them tonight. By dawn, they must be on the road. The members of the band hand in their uniforms. and the canteen prepares quantities of tea. The boys are going to need it, too. The wagons are brought in as close as possible, and everybody helps, even the girls. They can clean up after the men. The seats are carried out first, and as the daylight fades, work is carried on by floodlights. Inside the big top, the ring is dismantled and hauled away. The little trapeze artist coils her own trapeze, while the girls get ahead with sweeping up. It's completely dark now, and the lights have been lit. Still, the work goes on. Ah, here's one of the usherettes. Remember her? Here she is. And do you remember him? There he is. Yes, they all have to work. But outside, the lights are still on, and the public are enjoying themselves. The fun fair is open until after midnight. Then after the last ride has been given and the last coconut knocked off, the fun fair boys will have to pull down their side shows and join the circus. That means 24 hours of the most grueling work ever invented. It's a hard, tough life. On goes the work of dismantling. Canvas is pulled down and stowed immediately. Tonight is a fine night, but the work would still go on even if it were raining, although the spectators would have gone home by then. At last, down comes the big top. The boys can now relax a bit. The majority of the work has been done. At dawn, the loaded wagons are ready to move off. They have been waiting for the first light of day. The seating, scaffolding, canvas, and poles have all been stowed into the smallest possible space. It's the neatest job of packing I've ever seen. The wagons are hitched to the trailers for the move. Each wagon pulls up to 4 trailers behind them. One after the other, they leave for their destination. By 6 o'clock in the morning, the field will be clear, and the whole show will then have taken to the road. The journey to the new location is smooth enough. The maintenance department has seen to that. The new site has been prepared as far as possible. The circus has a spare pair of king poles, as they are called, which are erected in advance so that time can be saved on the build-up. The first thing the public see of the circus are these king poles, rising to a height of 60 feet, well gauged and pegged. These will take the whole weight of the canvas and aerial apparatus. No chances are taken where the safety of the public are concerned. How clearly they stand out against the sky. Silent giants will soon be humming with activity and life. Between them will be the ring and the performers. The poles are 2 feet in diameter at the base and are staked into the ground with 4 2-foot stakes. The ropes are of the heaviest caliber, as can be seen by comparison with a man's arm. The wagon trains have now reached the field. Here are the local casual laborers who will help out the circus staff. 40 extra men are engaged for the day. By tonight, they will never have done such a hard day's work. Each wagon drives into its appointed site, and ready hands begin the business of unloading. Now they reap the benefit of careful planning, as each section of canvas can be dropped off in its appointed place. Stakes are driven in and gear fixed. That's a 7-pound hammer he's using. The stakes go in like toothpicks. The rolls of canvas are undone and spread over the area. The big top and stables are in sections, and they are laid in the position they will eventually occupy. Each section delivered to its appointed place. Some idea of the weight is obtained by these men only trying to turn a section around. Next come the poles, which are placed in position. You know, they do this sort of thing in Scotland and get prizes for it. They call it tossing the caber. Well, I think you could get in some pretty useful practice right here. The poles are in several sizes and must be placed correctly. There's the ring arriving in sections. And there's the experts to see they do it right. Here are all the sections spread across the ground and ready for the operation of lacing. There are nearly 10 tons of canvas here, and they cover an area of over an acre. Makes a bathing tent look like a sunshade. There are the men lacing the sections together into one big tent. The large poles are now laid out under the watchful eye of the assistant tent master. The business of getting the big top erected is too big a job for one man, as he could not keep control of the operation. Everything has to be done in rotation. and the men must know their drill if all is to go smoothly. This big top came over from America and is the only one of its kind here in England. And now you can get some idea of the whole layout. There is the big top over there. Nearer is the canvas of the stables with the caravans of the attendants and the dressing tents, and beyond, the caravans of the performers. Ah, more experts. Now the ropes are secured and the center of the big top raised off the ground. It won't be long now. No, that's not moles. It's the men who have been working in the center of the canvas. The outer ring of poles are now used to raise the canvas. As soon as this is secure, all that remains is to haul up the center. Oh, I wondered what had happened to you. What in the world's happening now? Surely he's not going to... I believe he is. Yes, it's the knife thrower carrying out his usual morning practice. Now, steady, Charlie. He's only practicing. You won't hurt her, or will he? There, you see, she's still alive. The knives are at least 3 inches away, and that's a lot. You'll get them closer yet. Steady, Charlie. Either she likes it or somebody's paying her to do it, so you don't feel so good, huh? Look at the precision of the throws. One little slip and she'd be like a flat tire. That's a new angle. He's going to put a knife just there. It's no good. His nerves are not strong enough. Poor guy. And here's a child doing her daily practice. Circus performers run in families, and they start learning their acts at a very early age. What is more, the children attend the local school wherever their parents happen to be, so that the schooling does not suffer. This little one is being brought up in the tradition of the profession. I've seen those feet somewhere before. Oh, it's you again. Well, what a nice bareback rider. That's done it. She seems to think Charlie is the cat's whiskers. She does, too. Not again. I can't stand it. Don't tell me that manager's got ideas himself. Now, careful, Charlie. All dogs around the circus are trick dogs. Go on, give him something to eat. Don't shoot him. What do you know? He's going to play possum. Go on, you're not really dead. Go on, get up. Dang. He's dead, all right. Say a few things to him and bring him back to life. Go on, dog, get up. Rats. That's right. Almost before the big top is up, the performers are rehearsing. In this business, unless you rehearse in every possible opportunity, the show is bound to suffer. Constant practice does it. At least an hour a day if you want to stay on top. Look at this child. She's not 10 years old yet, and she's following in her parents' footsteps already. By the time she's old enough to take a job, she will be proficient. These circus folk pass on secrets from generation to generation. The business is a family business, and in any circus in the world, you'll find that they have relations working in this very circus. The big top is at last erected. Remember how it looked before? Just the bare poles in an empty field. But the planning must continue and those last-minute arrangements made. This caravan has been converted into an office, and the whole of the business of the circus is conducted from here. I wonder if it has occurred to you that even the water must be laid on by themselves and any necessary drains dug. The circus is a complete little town on its own. Look, the animals are beginning to arrive. That's a horse box, unless I'm mistaken. Yes, those are the Gray Liberty horses. They've had a long journey, and they'll be glad to get back to the stables. Even Jumbo, the baby elephant, is glad the journey's over. Good job he hasn't got that journey every day. And here is Ivanovich. the bourgeois, having a last walk before he turns in. Look at the grace and lines of that dog. Fifi doesn't like being clipped, but who does? French poodles are the most intelligent breed of dogs and have been used in circuses for hundreds and hundreds of years. And here's a little fellow starting a new life, a life which bores this veteran. The performers are constantly rehearsing new tricks with their animals. Not that you would ever have to teach me a trick like this. Still, he's young yet. He'll get to like it in time. Go on, you sap. If you're going to teach an animal tricks, you must have unlimited patience. Never lose your temper. Remember that kindness will do more than anything else to give you success. My goodness, hasn't he got that pony in the stable yet? Who'd have thought a shrimp like him could give so much trouble? Hold on, son. This week they give a tea to a party of children. How these curious folk just love doing things for the little ones. Jellies, cakes, blancmanges are provided, and even the babies sit up in their high chairs and take nourishment. I don't care if I haven't got anything to eat. I could still enjoy the party. Over in the caravans, the artists settle down to tea and a chat before the opening performance. What a little monkey he is. Stop it. Mama won't love you anymore. It's that colt again. Say, how long does this go on? The wardrobe master puts the finishing touches to the clothes. Now the boys can take a few minutes to do their bookwork. Ah, all is quiet at last, and now he can begin grooming. Inside the stables, the horses are waiting patiently for the performance to begin. This horse has been off his feed and needs medicine. The groom needs some help. Oh, no, not again. Anybody but him. He looks out on his feet. Say, you're working that poor chap too hard. Can't you see he's yawning his head off? Pay attention, Charlie. Look out. It's too late. Never mind. Now what are you going to do? I told you he was too tired. Perhaps if you shook him a bit, it might help. Dear, dear. Don't scream out, man. Get a doctor. Never mind. Get a vet.
You crazy.
What on earth got into him? As if I didn't know. He feels a little hoarse. Nay, nay. Woo. Steady, steady, boy. Get up. Steady does it. Steady. Go on and humor him. Not that sort of humor. He's going to tell that nice girl how they nearly put him in the cart. His job is so unstable. But the show must go on, whatever happens to Charlie. It's getting near time now. Still, they're all ready to go. The clowns put the finishing touches to their makeup, and overall is an air of expectancy. Here's one of the usherettes collecting her uniform from the wardrobe master. In the next 15 minutes, all the staff will be ready for the opening. Crowds are beginning to collect as the excitement grows. The supervisor inspects the usherettes to see that they're immaculate. Of course they are. They're as enthusiastic as anybody around the big top. Here's the moment the public have been waiting for. That moment when the barriers are down and they can go in. That's the ringmaster. He consults his watch, braces himself, and goes into the big top. The show is on. But not for Charlie. Say, listen here, you. Once and for all, get out of here. I don't care how sorry you are. Get going. Beat it. No good, Charlie. You better get going. I don't like the look in his eye. For Pete's sake, hurry up and get the lead out of your pants. Ah, the clowns. Traditional circus performers among the smell of the sawdust and leather. And the trapeze artist is not practicing now, but doing her act 40 feet above the ring. One slip and death or serious injury will result. How they take their lives in their hands, literally in their hands, as they perform their daredevil stunts to the music of the circus orchestra. Now the king of beasts has made his entry. Just look at the power in those shoulders. What a thrill it is to see beasts like this do as they are told. These beasts are untamed from the jungle. Trainers say that you can never trust zoo-bred animals, that the wild ones learn to respect you sooner. Well, brother, I certainly respect them. Better him than me. Well, I never. Does he tell the tale to that bareback rider, or does he? Mabel, he says, by the way, her name is Mabel, I love you. And does his heart work overtime proving it? That's different, Charlie, dear, she says. Let's get married. So you see, the poor chump got a job after all. What a job. Mm-hmm.